everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Wizard Kid is Life. Wizard Kid here. It's officially Halloween 2020, and the scariest thing about 2020 is obviously the coronavirus. Anyway, I know it's early, it's only like 6:30, but I'm actually currently in the shed on the old historical fire truck. So before I go finish this video, I'm going to do a bit of a thing here. I'll let you know. Anyway, first ghost story. I used to go somewhere called PCYC. Now the thing about PCYC is we all got bored, so we came up with some ghost stories. Now I will tell you what the stories were. The first, there's a stage in an auditorium. Above the stage on one side is a platform. Now this platform has an old cupboard on it, and the story went that if you went up to it, opened the door, it's dead, like a skeleton came out of when you opened up the doors of the cupboard, the skeleton would grab you, pull you in, kill you, and you'd end up living all eternity in the cupboard. That was the story. So this story. And that's pretty much the gist. But I had a friend that went up there. She slowly went up the staircase to the first part, to the first landing. Then she went up the other part of it, the second part of the stairs, and there was a door. You go through that door. Now the first landing for these stairs actually had a dressing, like backstage dressing area, which I've been in because I did dancing there. But the next top of the stairs, my friend went slowly up the old creaky stairs. She went to the top landing part. Sorry, I'm really freaked out right now. And she opened up the doors. She opened up the door. She went through the door. She slowly crept quietly with creaky floorboards underneath her walked over to the cupboard. She opened it up, and let's just say there was cleaning supplies in there. See, I was being freaky, but the reality. Now, on the other side of that stage, in that auditorium for PCYC, there was a door on the opposite side. Not where the dress up, like the backstage area was. Further over, in a sense. It was further over. And it actually had steps going through this door. Now the story was, because it was an old RSL club. It's not open anymore, but it's old. But the story was that it was haunted by ghosts. Now a group of us decided to go up there and check it out, including myself. So we crept slowly through the door, well, more or less up on the stairs to the stage, went over to the door, walked through the door, walked up the steps, and there was a light switch outside, so obviously we sat it on. Nothing, to us it didn't appear that it was haunted. I think it was just old. But it was left. Like people left, not so much in a hurry, but it had been left and never opened again. Go figure. So that's the second story. So that was that story. I've got one more story for you. Now I know I did this story last year, but I kind of want to do it again because it's actually my favourite story of all time, and it's very true. So the stories I just told, which turned out to be false, but anyway, stories we come up when we're kids, we were bored. Alright, so Lady Elliot Island, my favourite story. I know I did this last year, but I'm hoping to do a better job this year. I think last year it was my very first video. And that reminds me, congratulations, it's been 1 year since I started doing these YouTube videos. I can't believe it. And I'm dressed as Evie from Descendants 3, the daughter of the evil queen from Snow White, which ironically ends up falling in love with Doug, who's the son of Dopey, as in one of the 7 dwarves. So that's kind of ironic. Anyway, continuing on with Lady Ella Island. The first family to live on the island was Phoebe Jane Phillips' family. Her parents, her siblings, and herself. She ended up one day had a cold. She woke up with a cold. It started off as a cold and then it turned into pneumonia. And because they were so far from the mainland, because it's off the coast of Queensland, there was nothing her family could do except make her comfortable until eventually she passed away. So that happened. Not long after, so they buried her in a mini graveyard. And so her family, not long after that, moved back to the mainland. And Phoebe's father was a lighthouse keeper for the lighthouse on the island. And next to come to the island was Susanna McKee, and her husband Thomas, and their youngest son that was still living at home with them. Now, this island had been a mining island, in a sense, where they had mined on it, so it wasn't very nice in those days. It was terrible. It was the worst. Anyway, what ended up happening was Susanna felt trapped on this island. She hated it. She hated the island so much. What next happened was their son moved back to the mainland and went to boarding school. Susanna's husband Thomas, he was actually a lighthouse keeper on the island, a bit like Phoebe's father. Now, Thomas travelled a lot for work, especially on the mainland. So she left. So he was gone a lot. So Susanna was stuck on this island all alone. One day, she got dressed in her finest clothes, got dressed, went down to the sand, went along the mini boardwalk that ships would come and go from, and she went in the water at the end of it. She drowned herself. She killed herself. The 2 reasons that she killed herself was 1, because she was lonely, and 2, because she was bored. It was something, and she wanted to escape from this island. Anyway, obviously her husband, Thomas, actually ended up finding her, and he was the one that found her washed up on the shore and buried her right next to Phoebe. So they're very close next to each other, and I have photos of it. I know it's real. I know all of this is real because I've seen it in person and I've got photos of it. So what ended up happening was Susanna's husband Thomas, not long after that, moved back to mainland. And then these 2 people, now I thought it was 2 men. I'm sticking with that, but I think it might have actually been a man and a woman, like a couple. So they came to the Lady Island next, and one of them, which was a chef, and the other was a lighthouse keeper. Now, it was actually the chef that had weird things happen to him, because he was living in this second cottage on Lady Island, which is right on the side of the island where the lighthouse was. What ended up happening was weird. Anyway, I heard that door. Continuing on. Alright, so what ended up happening was he was sleeping in the front bedroom. Now, he woke up startled in the middle of the night because he felt someone was watching him sleep. He looked up, so he woke up, he looked over through the glass door, and he saw a white, pale, transparent figure of a woman. Now, this woman was obviously one of the ones that died on the island, and is trapped there for all eternity, but one that was obviously very angry and didn't want this man staying in the front bedroom of the second cottage. My guess is it was Susanna and her husband Thomas's bedroom of the second cottage. So that was the first thing that happened. Second thing that happened was also during the night. Thomas, obviously this man, I don't know the guy's name, the one that woke startled in the middle of the night because he felt someone was watching him sleep, was woken up again, startled. Something with great force pushed him off the bed. No joke. And he was like, what the hell happened? So that was the second thing. Third thing that happened was he was coming back from work late one night and he saw the same transparent, ghostly white figure of a woman come out of the second cottage, walk over, and disappear into the lighthouse. Weird, huh? So what ended up happening was, obviously, he was terrified. The fourth thing that happened actually happened during the day, and he was more or less on the front lawn with the other person. I'm sticking with two men. I'm pretty sure it was two men. And they were just talking. The door for the cottage and the windows and that were open to let fresh air in. And it wasn't windy. It was just a light breeze, nothing too strong or anything. There was an empty ice cream container on the top of the stairs. I don't know if, I'm guessing the guys actually put it there, which is fair enough. It happens. So I reckon the guys put it there and, ended up being, all this weird thing. The next thing that happened was this ice cream container went flying off the top of the stairs and went out the front door, down the outside steps, and landed right at the feet on the grass in front of the two men. After that, the men decided, nope, we're getting off this island, it's haunted. Left. Got on the next boat to the mainland, being Australia, Queensland, and when they were on the boat going back to the mainland, they told the crew of that boat all the things that had happened, the weird things that happened to them. And it turns out that one of them, the crew member of this boat, knew the previous owners to this island. And he showed photos of the previous owners. And the guy pointed out, that's her, that's the woman I saw. He recognised one of the women. And the crew member that knew the previous people that lived on the island said that's Susanna McKee. Because Susanna is an angry ghost. She's an angry spirit. Just downright angry. It's fair enough. Anyway, kisses. I love yous all. I will be back, won't be long, and I will be back, and I'm going to do another video or two. So I'll see you soon. Over, out.